remember we're talking about Dharma-based principle, yet it doesn't contradict normal life norms. The normal life norms are based on the old Tibetan system, which necessarily doesn't mean so good today. But it is alternative, a great contemplative and good deeds, no doubt about it. But there also has to be with open mind, able to edit and remodify a lot of them. Very important. For example, what I was supposed to tell you here is what the fifth Dalai Lama said. Any words that you hear which you don't like it, whatever it is, but be not completely open and talk about it. The words that you don't like it, take it as though you don't mind it, and your deep conscious feeling of not wanted should not be clearly shown. And if you shown that, maybe you're not that right. It's better not show. Similarly, your desires, whatever you want, food, wealth, whatever, and it says, take it, make attempt with a very gentle and soft and almost not straightforward. And without showing that you want it, without expressing that that's your desire. So sort of indirectly, if you can take it, without sort of making efforts, indirectly you can take it. Fifth Dalai Lama calls that is witty, wise person. I'm not sure whether in our today's society it is witty, wise person or it is something else, not straightforward. Whole idea is if you are making it known openly, seeking for you, number one, seeking for yourself is not right. Number two, the seeking also, if you achieved, maybe get obligated, right? We get a lot of obligations, and that's just why Dharma world, if you are obligated, is good, fine. But the material world, maybe not so much. So that's probably why it is. Similarly here, Nyala Mikong, learning your things. So even there are some difficult person or even bad person, it is better not to have difficulties. I would have said misunderstandings, but more than misunderstanding, idea of disliking, improving their deeds, thoughts, and all that. And he says, don't show it clearly because people may change. People will change. When the people changes, if you have shown a lot of difficulties, and then it's difficult to handle. But today the politicians seems to be handling everything okay. Remember, there was a period that Trump and Cruz have a huge argument and all that. Even Cruz refused to endorse Trump in his convention and all that. But now it seems to be everything okay. Similarly, with Chris Christie and Marco Rubio and all this, and now seems to be getting okay. But I don't know what's happening with Bush. Anyway, so maybe it is maybe not exactly what the Fifth Dalai Lama is saying it. In one hand, he's saying here, if you say so much bad thing about person you don't like, you don't approve of it. The person may change, situation may change, it may face your difficulty. And in our world today, it doesn't really make that much difference. Today's enemy can be, tomorrow's friend. It does happen. It does happen. But it was the biggest shock for the Tibetans when the Chinese came. When I remember when I was a kid, the Chinese came in Tibet and they say a lot of things and they agree, do this and that, do all kinds of things. And tomorrow, whole thing changed, saying the policy has been changed. So that was biggest shock for the Tibetans. They said policy changed. And then they keep on insisting, you said that a month ago, you said that a week ago, you said that a day ago. They said yesterday was yesterday, today is today. So that sort of thing is never heard in the Tibetan background. For if you're talking, you're talking. Your word has meaning. You don't say whatever comes in your head, and then you don't do whatever you want to act. So that is probably even base or principle in which we function, maybe slightly different. The next word here, because I do want it to get down and try to finish in that between, but maybe it's not going to. The next word says, Sangla Medu Jingur Shebarka. Similarly, you don't accuse or say bad things about the bad ones, but also do not overly praise the good ones equally. And that is the old advice. Today, if the good ones are not praised and that they get disheartened. They have no, they have no basis of praise and no basis of excitement and encouragement, which is very necessary in today's world. But over here, it says, don't overly do it because things may change. Kange toden bebe ne meba, shensirin dangbe, sheji jemeros. So next two words it says, without a proper confirmed reason, following the word of others and do not insult other people. Direct word here is shensirin dangbe sheji jemero. Sheji means cut, tongue. Don't cut tongue of others without having proper reason, just simply so and so said so should not be the appropriate reason at all. So we do that quite often, and not only we do that quite often, we do a lot of things on the basis of opinion of people. That's why we have poll after poll for election, during the election, and everything sort of a popular poll. So we follow that. But here they're saying it, don't do it. Don't do it. So do it when you're convinced. Particularly, do not criticize others. You can't cut the tongue, but criticizing. So going against others' speech. That is cutting tongue, they call it. Shouldn't do it because without proper reason, without simply you have heard people, number of people said about it, and that as a reason, and criticizing others that may not be right. Whatever activities you may do without knowing very clearly you can do it. Without knowing it very clearly you can do it, do not make lot of noise and announcement, etc. about it, because you may not be able to do it. But it doesn't mean don't do it. Do it whatever you wanted to do it, but don't make it publicly declaring and doing it. Quietly do it, and when you're really getting it done, then you can declare. And it says, without telling, hiding in your mind is important. And also it says, do not be so close to your friend, family, like children, etc. Family. Do not be so close to them. As well as do not be so harsh on the enemies. Because if you are overly close to your friends and so on and forth, and then you may have these people change, but these people change. So this is interesting, right? So Do not overly too close to your, not close, praise to your children, etc., close friends, because they may change it. Do not overly harsh to the enemy. It seems to be repeating it again and again in the different the letters and poetry form. So it considered it is important. And so it is, as I said earlier, it is important that we look in this old way of functioning, because it's very dharma-based, and make the individuals, no matter however it may be, make the individuals are good person, and your deeds become virtuous. But at the same time, you have all this type of difficulties. This type of difficulty, like what I'm saying now. You know, don't be, it's almost like don't be straightforward to me. Do you hear that? Maybe you do. Maybe I'm hearing a little too much. To me, it's sort of saying don't be so straightforward. But I hope they're not saying it. So anyway, and that's that. And so all of those tells you think earlier, think carefully before you act or before you even tell people. Think and sort of you make basic sort of, what do you call it, structure or skeleton thing. Make it first, and then when you think it is possible, then talk to people and begin to function. And when you don't think it is possible, maybe better not say it. So sometimes it has a lot of difficulties. And for example, I notice myself, and I notice many of my friends, colleagues, and they keep very quiet. And during the conversation, meeting, and discussions, we keep quiet. We will be the last person to speak, almost not of my age group, and so last. So many people consider we just simply agreed, or many people think, many people think we agreed or participated, or we sometimes think it doesn't bother much, and all kinds of things are there, because until it's A, clear to you, B, you have some kind of at least a skeleton type of how it's going to work, and some planning. Until then you don't speak. So sometimes it is always too late to say anything in this modern world today. I noticed that myself. Maybe we are not intelligent enough. My experience is a number of times that I participated different meetings of different organizations, boards. And before you say anything, everybody says all kinds of things, and then people goes on agreeing, and so then it's awkward for you to say or disagree, and I noticed that. But if it's so late, and then even you have a good idea, you can't express because it's getting too late, and everybody else agrees on this, everything else. So that's what the old advice tell you, but the new ones and the young ones, particularly today, whatever they thought, they think, they keep on going all the time without thinking or shutting down or even giving an opportunity to other people to speak. That is today. That what I was talking was yesterday. If there is something goodness in that, we should take it. If there is no goodness in that, and then it also says, Dala Hazan Dana Rangla Ne Rangla Tung. Dala Hazan Dana Rangla. It's interesting. If you are so harsh on your enemy, think of yourself. Some people may be very harsh on you. And when you have that, so how inconvenient, unhappy, difficult it is. So yes, you have to hurt, you have to challenge, revenge, hurt enemies, but that is not a major thing, which is good advice even today. Today, a lot of people do that, but it is good advice because it is the truth. If you are so harsh on the enemy, and it is not good for the enemy, but also not good for you. Because whatever the enemy may experience today, may get the same experience you will experience another day. So it is really against compassion. We must have a compassion on enemy. Enemies also human beings, so they deserve to have my compassion. So reasonable, good punishment is called for. Unreasonable, so much harsh is not called for. And also, if you rely on so much to your friends and the family, if you rely on, then sometimes you not get along well. So do not overly rely on friends, family, and all that. If you do so you will have difficulty. Sometimes they are not there. Sometimes and they are become against you. This is interesting. This is really old Tibetan society. It says, so people who are depending on you, and who are hoping, who are putting hope on you, and if you are getting so, I don't know what, you're scolding people and doing all that, if you overly do it, you have nobody comes around with you. So do not overly abusive or anything of that type, particularly people who are depending on you, following you. Because if you do so, people will go away, will not depend on you. And also they said, people, your subordinates. And if you have been so hard on your subordinate, don't do it because they won't like it. They will have a hatred develop for you. So better not. Even if you are subordinate, treat them like a really good human being, equals to, and give them that much respect and function together.